Hey baseball fans, welcome to another installment of Talkin Rangers Baseball. I'm Hondo, and in a couple of minutes we're going to be joined by Big Boppy from Modesto on the phone. And remember, we're brought to you by sportswagers-elections.com. For the best sports wagering picks around, log on to sportswagers-elections.com 24 hours a day, and you'll get the best information around. Boppy, welcome. It's been quite a month so far.
It has been a beautiful month. I mean, to borrow a line from Rogers and Hammerstein for the Texas Rangers, units busting out all over.
Boy, I remember talking to you on my cell phone in my car the first day of Tuesday. It was Tuesday, June 1st. The Rangers had just come off an off day. They had lost 3 in a row in Minnesota. It didn't look good for the first game of a 3-game series in Chicago with a struggling Rich Harden going up against the always tough Mark Burley. And I remember you asked me, what's the pitching matchup? And I told you, and you said, well, there's another loss. But that night, the Rangers won it 9-6, coming back from a 4-0 deficit, tagging Burley for a career high, yielding 12 hits in 5 1/3 innings. And since that night, Boppy, for the month of June, the Rangers are 18-4. They've won 11 in a row, the second time in club history that they've won double figures consecutively, the club record being 14 in 1991, and they've won 14 of their last 15. An incredible streak.
Well, the other thing about this, there's a sense of maturity. It's also, some teams when they win, they act surprised, they're overjoyed. With the Rangers right now, they're acting like literally the Yankees, the Dodgers from back in the 60s. They're acting like we deserve to win, we should win, and it's business as usual. That tells me they haven't, they're just beginning to hit their stride. A wonderful, wonderful outlook for the Rangers right now.
Well, and like any time a team wins as many games as they have and been on the kind of streak that they're on, everybody's been contributing. I mean, they get the clutch 2-out hits from the top of the lineup on down to the bottom of the lineup.
Triple by Mike Trainer.
A triple by Matt Trainer, which won a game a week ago Tuesday in Florida against a closer who, for the most part this year for the Marlins, Leo Nunez, has been lights out. And there's a lot of people who say, well, yeah, the Rangers have won 11 in a row and 14 out of 15, but it's all been against losing teams. But these losing teams that the Rangers beat, Boppy, like the Brewers host the Twins, and they sweep a 3-game series from the Twins.
And the Angels and the Astros have just given
the
this weekend.
The Astros just took 2 out of 3 from the Giants in Houston after the Rangers swept them.
The Texas Rangers are a team to contend with, and if they can come up with a lead pitcher, a number 1 pitcher, they will be a team that we should see. They'll play some October baseball.
Well, that's going to be a lot to do with a judge in Fort Worth on how he rules in the bankruptcy case right now. But I think if the Rangers, the ownership situation is resolved before the trading deadline, I think you're definitely going to see an addition on this team, because I think that the front office knows that this is a team that's going to go places, and the only thing right now that they really lack is that ace atop the rotation. You slide Lewis down to number 2, CJ to number 3, Tommy Hunter to number 4, and you put a Cliff Lee or a Roy Oswalt atop that rotation, and the Rangers are a very, very dangerous team.
But one of the things we ought to do right now for the fans, we ought to go over in this first half some of the landmark developments for the Rangers. Like, for you, what's the biggest surprise to you so far this year?
The biggest surprise to me? Well, I look at the team, and I expected Julio Bourbon to be where he's at now in the mid-290s. I expected Elvis Andrus to improve upon the 268 he hit last year with a higher on-base percentage. He's done that. Josh Hamilton probably. I think Josh Hamilton being even better so far than he was in 2008 is probably the surprise to me, because I had serious doubts going into the season, and then a month into the season, I really had serious doubts.
And I've got to agree with you there, and I've got to say that there again, it's like Ron Washington and his patience makes all the difference in the world, because I think there are teams that would have been looking around to trade Hamilton after the spring and after everything that happened last year, and Washington stayed with him, and Clint Hurdle, for whatever reason, the toe tap or the batting practice, it's as if all of his experience and everything has come together while he's still at the peak of his physical abilities before he ages any, and he's going to have 1 year for the ages. And I'm just astonished at how good he is.
Right. I'd have to agree with you. He's certainly having a great season for the month. During this 18-game hitting streak, which is a career high for Josh, he is hitting .500 with 8 home runs, 24 RBIs. He's scored 19 runs, and he's got a slugging percentage of .972, which makes Babe Ruth look like a singles hitter.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
And then I think that he's doing it really without overswinging. That's the amazing thing. He's hitting some tape measure shots, and it's almost as if he's hitting the skin off the ball every time he takes a swing. And one of the things we're not seeing anymore, we are not seeing him take those half chop swings when he's ahead in the count. He's not giving himself up and taking those terrible swings. It's a different Josh Hamilton.
Right. And after the win tonight, the Rangers went into the day 3.5 up on the Angels, 5 in the loss column. And as we speak right now, the Dodgers are trying to hold on in the bottom of the ninth against the Angels. And if they can, the Rangers would lead the Angels by 4.5, 6 in the loss column. That's the important part, because those are the games you can't get back, is the loss column. And there's a big 3-game series coming up in Anaheim next week, which right now, if the Rangers bring a 5 or 6 game lead into that series in Anaheim, the pressure's on the Angels. The Angels cannot afford to let the Rangers take 2 out of 3 or sweep that series, or it's going to be tough for the Angels. And the Dodgers just closed the Angels out, so it's now a 4.5 game lead, 6 in the loss column. So things are looking good, Boppy.
The other thing is, I was going to say, for me, the second most surprising thing to me has been how strong the bullpen has been. They have got, 5 guys now? 5 guys in the bullpen who could bring it with 95-mile-an-hour velocity or better, and a couple of guys like Darren Oliver, who's a little bit lower than that, and O'Day, who can absolutely have pinpoint control, and they're just death on right-handed or left-handed hitters.
Well, to me, the big addition, I think, not only on the field but off the field, as far as being a veteran and mentoring some of the younger guys, Darren Oliver has been a huge acquisition. Yeah. If I'm the Angels right now, I'm scratching my head why they didn't bring him back, because the Angels right now are looking at a bunch of 6th, 7th, and 8th inning relievers with 5 and 6 ERAs, and Darren Oliver in a hitter's ballpark, Texas, after his 2 scoreless innings tonight, has an ERA of 1.2 something.
Yeah.
And and the other thing about the bullpen, Boppy, Neftali Feliz, 21 or 22 years old, he goes out there and you look at him and nothing phases him. He can walk the first 2 guys. He could give up 2 bloop hits. He can blow the first 2 guys away. He's got the same expression on his face. And to me, that's another thing that is surprising. I didn't know how he was going to take pitching 2-3 nights in a row, and it looks like he's adapting to it well.
It looks like he gets better every night he pitches.
It really does. We only got a couple of seconds here, Boppy. Let's start to wrap it up. What are you looking for the second half of the year? What does this team need to do, not acquisition-wise, but on the field, in order to win the AL West?
I think you need to look for Ian Kinsler to become Ian Kinsler. He needs to have an Ian year. He needs to hit 300. He needs to have his 40 doubles and maybe 10 or 15 home runs, and get on base, have an on-base percentage that approaches 375 or higher. That's what we need. And if we have that, everything's going to go. And Justin Smoke's just going to get better. The only weak point we have in the lineup right now is the catcher.
Right. And I think that'll be addressed. And I think they're just going to stay healthy. So stay healthy, keep playing the way they are. Boppy, thanks. We'll talk to you later, fans, on Talkin' Ranger Baseball.